Hey fans and subscribers, this is your host Joe on the GamingForInsight channel with you for another video of Quick Chat. The topic, the Asus ROG Flow Z13 2025 version, a 2-in-1 device, and is it the device for you to buy? Joining me is first-time guest, Barely Average Dude. Welcome to Quick Chat.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, it's been an exciting couple of weeks to find out about this device, this Asus ROG Flow Z13. It has an APU in it that many are excited about because of the graphics component. The AI Max Plus 395 is that APU we're going to be talking about. And the Flow Z13, it's taken a journey. It released the first iteration of it in 2022. It came with a 12th gen Intel i9 and NVIDIA 3050 Ti. And then now skipping to 2025, we have a version where we have an APU instead of a separate CPU and GPU component. So for the 2025 version of the Z13, what stands out the most about it? And is it just the APU or is it more?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited as someone that actually uses a C13 as my main gaming laptop. I'm excited for this one. I think the thing that stands out most to me is the fact that they went to like a full APU from AMD. I think NVIDIA and Intel are kind of upset right now because they pretty much switched to an entirely NPU system where it's just an AMD processor. So that was actually surprising to see. I'm excited for this new processor, but it actually was surprising to see this sort of move away from the Intel plus NVIDIA based setup. I'm excited for it, just what it offers as far as performance and efficiency. But it was actually surprising to see. I was hoping for like an NPU situation, but I didn't think they were brave enough to do it. But I'm happy they went through with it, and I'm happy to see this new AMD processor in the Z13.
Yeah, the Strix Halo APU, it does pack some power, and this is a 2-in-1 device. Does the APU change anything about it being a 2-in-1 device? Do you think it's still a worthy 2-in-1 device with specifically this Strix Halo APU, or does it really need that separate CPU and GPU component?
I think you can kind of look at it two different ways. I, for example, think that it sort of elevates the 2-in-1 aspect because, like I said, I have like a Z13. This is like my main gaming laptop. I carry it around just as a tablet. Like I don't even carry the keyboard most of the times. I just carry like a little controller, and this is like my combo. This is my gaming combo. And one thing that really is a detractor from this device is the battery life. And that sort of like Intel plus NVIDIA situation really sucks a lot of power when you're on battery, almost to the point where it's unusable on battery. And I do believe that this new AMD APU is much more power efficient, especially at those lower wattages. You should still get decent performance at lower wattages. Now, you can squeeze a little bit more battery life out of the Intel-based previous generation Z13, but at that point, you're not really going to get much as far as gaming goes, and you really have to choose between if you want to get like gaming or longevity. But even on silent mode, it still doesn't last very long. So I'm very interested in the efficiency of this new processor, and I think that makes it more of a 2-in-1 because as a tablet, you can carry it around just for your light gaming tasks and your light productivity and things like that, and it should last as long as you would expect like a tablet to last, a full day of just, browsing, productivity, work documents and stuff like that. So I think as a 2-in-1, it is a little bit better. But as a powerhouse, I think it does sort of take a little bit from it. But I'm hearing that the performance at the high end of this chip is rivaling like the 4060 and even like sometimes the 4070 mobile. So I think either way you look at it, it's a benefit in my opinion.
Yeah, and you have some great points there. The battery for the 2025 version, at least, we're looking at 70 watt hours. So the ROG Ally X, for example, has 80 watt hour. It's interesting that you mentioned gaming for both low TDP value and high TDP value, because many individuals may be thinking, okay, let's just get this thing and let's turn it up. But for those that want to preserve some battery, make the most of that 70 watt hour. And the Fox in his video pointed out that even at lower TDP values between 15, 25 watt, it can do well in that space instead of just getting it and pumping it up. So for the APU making this a worthy consideration to purchase, do previous generations have any features to the Z13 2025, or is the Z13 2025 just something all entirely new, especially with this APU?
I think it's another thing that can sort of like go either way. I think one thing that is missing from the new generation is the port that's going to get you the XG mobile, I believe. So, and they didn't even put Thunderbolt 5 on that, or USB 5, the newest generation of USB and Thunderbolt on the new version, which is interesting because they have a eGPU that has Thunderbolt 5, I believe. So it's kind of like a weird mismatch there. But I think that as far as if you're looking to get the new one, I don't think there's anything on the previous generation where it's like, I need to have it. Now, if you have the XG mobile and you're sticking with that, then of course you're probably going to want to skip the new one. But I think that as far as just the device in and of itself, if you're not considering like, any eGPU solution that you already might have, then I think that the 2025 is a worthy upgrade. I don't think there's anything specifically, unless you just have to have the Intel processor for whatever workloads you have. But then, of course, that's something that you would already know. I don't think that anything I would say would kind of like sway you either way. That's something that is very specific.
Yeah, no Oculink for this device, and 2 Type-C USB 4s as well. So if those are thinking about an eGPU, then that would be where to leverage that. Now, that is for 40 gigabit per second bandwidth, so do keep that in mind. Is there anything else to consider there? For example, the memory options. I mean, there isn't a memory option that's sold out right now as of the 24th of February in 2025 with 128 gigabyte memory option. Is there anything other than AI modeling that one would need that for, or should individuals just think about getting the 32 gigabyte as well instead?
I think that's another thing where like, if you need it, if you have to really ask, do I need more RAM? Then most of the times you probably don't need more RAM. I say that to a lot of people, especially for handhelds, when they ask, do I need the 64 gigabyte RAM handheld? I always tell people, if you have to ask me if I need more RAM, you probably don't need more RAM. Now, as far as the AI models, that's going to be huge because that GPU is going to be sharing that RAM, and it's going to be have a lot of bandwidth there. So for running AI models locally, if you're into that, you need as much RAM as you can take. So that's something that you already know. For the average person that's just doing gaming, I think 32 gigabytes of RAM has proven to be enough for the CPU and GPU on that single package to handle any game. And I think the actual graphics processor itself will be the bottleneck before the memory is in 99% of gaming scenarios. But if you have to have more RAM, I guess it's something that you would probably know for a heavy rendering task. Then that's something that you would probably consider. But for just the gamers out there, I think 32 gigabytes of RAM, even on this processor, is still enough for most people.
It's an interesting take. Barely Average Dude, thanks so much for joining Quick Chat. Take care.
Yes, thank you.